Hi everybody, Andrew Cuneo back again. This is draft 2 of day 2 of the Arena Cube Open. And we're right into it. Pretty disappointing pack. There's no cards that I would consider particularly good. What's this thing do exactly? Guess that's okay. There's the Sorin, this Sorin is kind of a mediocre card to me. There's also Primal Might, which I do like. I think I'm going to take Serra Paragon. Land or cast a permanent spell, mana value 3 or less. Hopefully I wheel the Overgrown Farmland. And it would be nice. It's a pretty bad pack though. It's kind of hard to predict what would wheel out of it. This is another not great pack. I have kind of liked Touch the Spirit Realm though in this cube. I think there's a lot of creatures that are kind of hard to remove, and pretty much every deck is playing with creatures, so it's worth having answers. Also, you can protect your important stuff with the channel ability every once in a while. So there's this Kaya, which is actually a pretty good card if you're a deck that has a lot of creatures, which white-black would probably be, but I think I'm just going to take Wedding Announcement. There's also Gix, which is very good, but it's also a double black card. I don't know that I need to start going into double black cards. I'd probably play Evolving Wilds if I got it, just because it works with the Paragon. So here we've got Cityscape Leveler, which I think is one of the best ramp payoffs in this cube. Not that white is really a ramping color. I think I'm just going to take Lyra. Lyra is one of those creatures that really demands an answer. And it can be really hard for mono red or heavy red decks to deal with. Fourth pick Lyra is also kind of a sign that probably in the open color. So we have Null Priest of Oblivion, which I do kind of like. But there's also Reclamation Sage. I think I'm going to take Reclamation Sage over the Simulacrum. Simulacrum is good, but it really only goes in aggressive decks. And like if you watched my video for the first draft, I played it in like a white-red aggressive deck. It really, you don't have to be a green deck to take advantage of it. There's also this Urtai, which is a very good card, but I'm going to take green instead. Not really very much in this pack. I guess I'm taking Benalish Marshall. I don't think there's really much of a reason to be mono white. And honestly, this guy isn't even that big of a payoff for making your mana, like warping your mana around him. It isn't that good of a card. I don't think I really want Awaken the Woods or Rabble Rousing, though. I certainly don't want Repair and Recharge. I know. Got a Leyline Binding. Which is a pretty good removal spell. I always forget this card has Flash. I think that's going to be the pick. I'm not going to pick Sphinx's Rev. I mean, Werewolf Pack Leader is very strong, but it's a double green card, and I've already got, even if I ignore the Benalish Marshall, I've got 2 double white cards. no dual lands, so I don't really want to go for a double green card. There's this Vivian that kind of doesn't really do anything. It's not particularly good. A white-black land is a little appealing. There's also Phyrexian Revoker, which is just a 2-drop. I'm kind of concerned that I don't have anything that costs 1 or 2 mana yet. I think the choices of the white-black land or the Revoker. There's also Argoth, but Argoth, is, like, to put it comes into play tapped land in your deck, it's really just not that big of a payoff. I guess I would play it if I was a heavy green deck, but it really, I don't think it's anything special. There is the other half so you can meld, but the other half is another not particularly special card. Revoker is also a nice one to be able to play out of the graveyard with Serra Paragon. It's a 2-drop that potentially is really high impact on later turns of the game if you get to name, you know, a planeswalker that your opponent has, or a vehicle or an equipment that isn't already on a creature. All right, the white-green land wheel, which is kind of what I was hoping for. There's also Primal Might, which is a real deal, but I think I'm going to go with the white-green land. If I get enough lands, I will be able to play the Marshal in a 2-color deck. I'm not going to pick Ovayaya because it's just not very good. This card's okay. I think I'm just going to take Charming Prince, though. More 2-drops. Always welcome. I think I should take Kaya. It's possible my mana is good enough to support it. The other option being Balaged Recovery, which I would play, but I wouldn't be very excited about. Do I want Timeless Witness, which is very good. And I've already got Charming Prince and Touch the Spirit Realm. I think that's better than taking Birth of Meletus. I might play this. I'll have to see. I think both of these cards are pretty bad. I'll go Air Stomper too. Oh, now I get a white-blue card that is worth splashing for. I think that I should just make a safer pick than taking Teferi. And I think the safer pick is Llanowar Visionary. I'm kind of building up a decent collection of things that are good to flicker. I think that the Teleportation Circle was in the last pack, but maybe I'm remembering a different draft. Either way, I'm pretty happy with this. If I'm lucky, the Aganjo wheels. This is not looking like a very good Benalish Marshall deck. Not sure if it's going to be a good Topiary Stomper deck. This does give me access to black mana if I play a single swamp, which I might be in the market for. There's Esper Sentinel, which is a good card. It's way better if you have ways to increase its power, which I don't really have much in that front right now. There's also Meathook Massacre, which is really, really good. I don't think I'm going to pick it because it's a double black card, but it's by far the best card in the pack. I think I'm just taking the land. This is the perfect land to support splashing. It also counts as a swamp, which makes the Leyline Binding cheaper. I think Toski's really good. Rubik's Cube. There is a Godless Shrine, which is also pretty tempting. I think Toski's good enough. Also, there's 2 white-black duels in this pack. There's a decent chance that I wheel one of them. I leave them both in the pack. Elvish Norn. Elvish Norn is extremely good. I do have a bit of a ramp theme going on. What's my other option? Like a white and green land? Because Savai Triome, if I really... Savai Triome might be... it's probably better to take the untapped land. I'm just going to take Elvish Norn, though. Settle the wreckage. I think I should take Lovestruck Beast. Fabled Passage would definitely be nice. But again, there's 3 lands that I would play. And there's still good spells left in the pack. So it's plausible I get one of the lands back. Here's the crappy thing that melds with our Arboros. I think I should take Inscription of Abundance. Lay Down Arms is okay. My plains count might not be that high. Like, I'm going to want to have probably 9 white sources, but I've already got 1 dual land that's a white one that isn't a plains. Definitely need a few more cheap cards. Not going to play Overwhelming Splendor. That is easy to see. Guess I'm taking Brushland. Also, I don't think... Unbreakable Formation, you really want to be a deck that's got a bunch of 1-mana creatures in it, which that's not what I am. I kind of like this card, You Line Up the Shot. I don't like it enough to pass a good dual land for it, but I would probably play it if I got it, which I don't... Maybe I could get it last pick at this point. Do I want Uvenwald Oddity or Dramoka's Command? I do like Dramoka's Command. I think I'll take Dramoka's Command. Uh, 11 creatures right now. Clarion Spirit is really just Grizzly Bears in my deck. I don't think I would play it. I don't think I'm going to play Rishgar's Expertise, but I think I might sideboard it in if I'm against a slower deck. This Sentinel's kind of a nice one to wheel. And the Godless Shrine came back. That's really nice, because this was in a pack that had Isolated Chapel as well, and I definitely would prefer the Godless Shrine. Oh no, it wasn't Isolated Chapel. What was it? Shattered Sanctum. I think I'll take the white-black land over the white-green one, because now I'll get 1, 2, 3. I'm going to play 1 swamp, so now I'll get to 4 black sources with just 1 swamp in my deck. And I think that's pretty good. I think this comes down to Elite Spellbinder or Solemn Simulacrum for me. And I think I'm going to take the Spellbinder. Just because I do want to really focus on keeping my curve low. And it's a 3-mana card that works with the Paragon while Wandering Emperor. Sign me up. I want to take a second to figure out how I'm at on my spell count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'd probably be adding 10 basics at this point.
Now you've
Meaning
done it.
I would
Hat's coming off.
I'm looking to get 3 more spells, plus maybe, what would be my first upgrade? I guess the Revoker, if I get more cheap cards, I could upgrade. I like my expensive cards. Maybe the Topiary Stomper I would upgrade. And Vivian would be good, but I think this is like a perfect deck for Restoration Angel. So I'm hoping to get a few more dual lands out of this pack just because I am in really good shape in terms of my spells. I think too many of the dual lands that I would play were in the previous packs, though. Do I want Baby Lasagna? I don't think so. It just isn't that good of a card. This is a 2-drop. It's not a very exciting one, though. Maybe I should take Wolfwillow Haven. I think I have enough expensive stuff that I might actually like ramping. I think I should take Bushwhack or Caves of Koilos. Gadeline would be really good, but I think it's kind of similar to stuff I already have. Or maybe it'd be more accurate to say it's a little bit off theme from what I have. I think maybe I'll play fewer lands. And I have the Bushwhack. And the Wolfwillow Haven. How many white-green lands do I have? None of these are white-green lands. I don't think I want Import Collector. I have 4 white-green duels. It's not bad. I think there's one more new pack that could have the Temple Garden in it. Where's the Temple Garden? Show me the Temple Garden. There's Ephemerate, which I think Ephemerate is quite strong in my deck. Also Yorion, which is quite strong in my deck. I'm going to have to cut 1 or 2 cards. I think Pilgrim's Eye is just too weak of a card to play. I see people put it in their deck, and I don't understand what they're doing. The power level of this cube is so high that 3 mana for a 1/1 flyer is not what you should want. I don't think there's any way I'm ever going to board in Baby Lasagna. Maybe I would board in Field of Ruin. I might board in Remorseful Cleric. Actually, I might just start it over the Revoker. It's a better body because of the flying, and it both have useful abilities occasionally, although not super useful, so I'll have to think about whether to board, swap them in sideboarding. What lands is this right now? 17. So I'm just going to definitely play at least one fewer lands because of the Turn Timber Symbiosis. I think I'm going to play 2 fewer lands. So the Bushwhack. It's kind of crazy, but I think after taking this first pick and drafting someone around it, I actually think it's the worst of my expensive cards. It's kind of funny. I could just not play Kaya, and then I don't have to play a Swamp. But I think Kaya's pretty good in my deck. So 16 lands. +16 plus Turn Timber Symbiosis. So I think I can cut one more land. It should be either a Plains or a Forest, but which one? So right now I have 7 lands that produce white and 7 that produce green. Oh, is that right? I was excluding the duals that produce both white and green. Somehow I thought that would be an easier way to count. So it's 6 of both. Probably need green mana earlier. So it would be 9 white sources, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 green sources. And 4 black sources. Plus I didn't count the Bushwhack or the Stomper there, or the Wolf Willow Haven. I think I definitely want the Yorion in my deck. I mean, I'm not going to companion it. That would be, I don't think, feasible. I guess I probably actually have enough cards that I could maybe do it. I'd need to add 21. And probably 8 of them would be lands. So I'd need 13 spells. I can get to 9 easily. It's not 13 though, so we're not going to do that. So how good is Yorion for me? I do have Yorion Charming Prince, so I can just do that loop, which is a pretty big deal. So I do think it is good. I mean, Yorion, just like Yorion plus Thragtusk is pretty good. Yorion Timeless Witness, Yorion Topiary Stomper, Rex Sage, and more Visionary. I guess you might want to do it with Wedding Announcement, Spellbinder. That's all. Those are all good things. All right. So let's. What do I have in the way of removal? I have Bushwhack and Dromoka's Command. Touch the Spirit Realm. Wandering Emperor, Leyline Binding. So it's like 5 things. Oh, and also Kaya. So I get a decent amount of removal. I have some life gain. Yeah. I think this deck is reasonably powerful. It's a little bit light on cheap plays because like Dromoka's Command and Bushwhack and Ephemerate are not really actually cheap plays. I do have Lovestruck Beast. Like if this Remorseful Cleric was an Elvish Mystic or Llanowar Elf, it would be a pretty big improvement to my deck. But it's not. Alright, let's do it. No. Better. I think I'll bottom the Yorion. Opponent is also on a mulligan. I don't have a ton of ways to make the Lovestruck Beast be able to attack if my 1/1 soldier dies. I've got Esper Sentinel and I have Wedding Announcement. I think that's it. A green-blue deck. Weird. I'm actually just going to kill the Elvish Mystic. It's just too good. On turn 1. Like, even though it's basically going to strand my Lovestruck Beast, it's my only play for the second turn, and it's going to slow them down substantially, probably. Trade. No, they're just going to play that and then not block. That was weird. I also have the Toski. That enables the Lovestruck Beast. Nice 4-mana 1/1. I guess they meant to block that. Just misclicked somehow. That's pretty good for them. I might wind up using the Kaya on the midnight clock. This is non-land, I assume. So it's going to go to 6, to 7 on my upkeep, 8, 9. So I don't think they can get it to go off. Is there a benefit to waiting? I don't think so. I feel bad. I feel bad. They had Baral's Expertise in their deck. I wonder if my opponent's happy with their deck. And they've made it this far, so they must know what they're doing to some extent. But I would not be very happy to have a deck that looks like what I've seen out of their deck so far. It's possible that they just kind of didn't really find an easy open lane in their seat, and they just wound up in this kind of weird concoction trying to make something work. I think the blue cards just don't lend themselves very well to going in anything but like a controlling strategy. And I don't think that the green cards lend themselves well to being a controlling strategy at all. Spectral Adversary, that's one I should remember. That and Spell Pierce. So they can go 8, 9 on my turn, 10, 11, 12. So they can get the clock to go off, but it would require them to tap out on their turn. So I think I'm fine with that happening. I guess this is a little, well, it's not actually that dangerous. They could clone the Elesh Norn potentially, but then we both have an Elesh Norn, so it would just, they'd offset each other. I wouldn't lose my board. So I saw Elvish Mystic and Midnight Clock for the Revoker. But I also saw Delver, which kind of makes me want to have Remorseful Cleric. Maybe that's wrong. Their deck doesn't look like it does damage aggressively enough that I need to be that much in fear of a Delver. Like, even if they play it on the first turn and it flips by like turn 3 or 4, it's just going to deal 10 or 12 damage to me. And later on in the game, it's not a big deal at all. I do want Esper Sentinel if they're playing with cards like Impulse. think that's it for consideration. I guess I could, in theory, be putting Maul of the Skyclaves in my deck at times. I don't think I really have enough cheap creatures that's a good plan, though. This time they don't have Llanowar Elves. This is another card that I'm not very impressed by. I think it's just outclassed by some of the other cards in the cube. Flicker the... I guess I'm going to flicker the Yorion and then have it flicker the Resto Angel, so the Resto Angel ends up out of play. I don't know what kind of cards the blue-green deck would have that it would be better that it's coming back in their end step rather than sitting in play right now. I definitely don't feel like I need it to block on this board, so I went ahead and did that, but I think that was not really particularly beneficial. I'll just bounce the Esper Sentinel. You've lost the power, Esper Sentinel. When the Resto Angel comes back, I'm not going to exile the Yorion because I just wanted him play to attack with. Guess it would have been good to be able to block. Who knew? It's not going to be a very big token.
Of the woods is made manifest.
I can buff the Esper Sentinel with Elesh Norn. That's truly unnecessary. Should I kill the Renin 7? I think I should have just attacked them. They would be forced to chump and they would go to 5. It's the Blade of the Oni. They're going to hit me for a good amount here, but I am playing Thragtusk next turn, or am I playing Lyra? I think I'm playing Thragtusk. Well, I'm playing whichever one they don't take. Very suspicious that my Lyra would just be dying if I cast it. So instead I'm gonna leave Resto Angel up. Okay. I take 7, go to 6. What's this thing do when it equips? It's a 5/5 menace. Am I dead? I'm dead. Oh, I wasn't dead. I needed to have these two block the 3-1. Let the Shambling Ghast through. Wait. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that previous turn. I think I played bad, but then I think my opponent did something bad too. Or maybe I'm just confused, as usual.
Professor Honest. Well, darn. Looks like you flunked out. Huh.
I'm focused. I got a job to do.
Need to tighten things up for the next game.
Great! So much for a new start.
And I really hope that this card is not Elesh Norn. This land Elesh Norn would make things bad for me.
Don't worry.
I think we can safely conclude that this is not Elesh Norn. They would have taken 3 to get Elesh Norn into play. I'm glad they haven't cast this card yet, so I don't have to read it. I know it's like reverse Fact or Fiction. Now the card is Toski.
guess I got in over my head. Look to see me no more.
Still need to play the Leyline Binding because they're gonna get a 1/1 dude. Alright, I survived that awful block. So that was nice. Do I want Dramoka's command in my deck? Seems kind of bad against their deck. I think I probably want Revoker. I think I also probably want Sarah Paragon in this matchup. You want Remorseful Cleric? No, I don't think so. Again with the beatdowns. I wonder if they can take the Topiary Stomper. Hope that doesn't mean that they have a card that can reanimate Hellish Norn. That's pretty good. For them, less so for me. Right.
Feel the energy of battle, then guide it like water. My judgment is final. I have got new moves to teach you.
Should have
Still
a counter on the
much to learn.
east.
Anyone who harms my people must contend with me. Remember your training.
Ow. Didn't care for that one.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
This is a way that they could have gotten Elishnorn back if they hadn't go blank to me.
Strike fast and strike hard. We've got the edge in this fight.
They're making it easy on me.
Aren't I the generous one?
Now they can't reanimate something because they would die. No, they would go to 1 maybe.
We will slay our enemies.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
My will cannot be denied. I will get what I want.
Could have attacked and forced them to chump with the Blood Artist. Ugh.
I will cull the weak.
Oh, I'm dead. You should play the Grey Merchant and I die. Oh, I didn't die. 10 life though. Alright, 13. The Blood Artist kills me. I needed to attack last turn to trade the Topiary Stomper for the Blood Artist effectively. That was terrible. They would have been forced to, right? The Spellbinder has first strike, so they would have gone up to 4. But yeah, then they would have had to block with Blood Artist. I think this is going to be a very good Elite Spellbinder. Hopefully I get to time walk their 3rd turn. Oh, I don't. Guess I'm taking Gix. The logic being this way, if they want to make a play on turn 3, they're going to have to give me a card through the Esper Sentinel. This cannot kill the Spellbinder, right? Oh, no, it can.
Stand by.
I'm going to play this on an empty board because it means that I'll get to plus next turn and then get to minus again more quickly. I think they thought that this was going to be able to take out Kaya, but it can't hit Planeswalkers. This match has been a comedy of errors from both sides.
Keep watch for intruders.
Ghosting feels weird, right?
You got to be wondering why I played the Wandering Emperor there. I did it because I thought I was going to put a counter on the Sentinel. Oh, they have actual Blood Artist and Sanguine Brushstroke. I see. Why didn't they play Sanguine Brushstroke? What do they have?
We've got the edge in this fight.
Here, let me help.
Maybe they have that Hostile Negotiations card? I'm not worried about them sweeping me necessarily here, because I've got two bodies that have Kaya counters on them. This is what they have. I'll be able to kill my Planeswalker, so I'm not going to allow that. And that time I actually timed my spell correctly. There's no reason to let them untap. Wow. Got away with one that match. I did not play very well. Very strong hand. Sure which land to get before my draw step there, but the fact that I just drew Leyline Binding means I'm going to get a swamp. I do have a double white card in my hand, and I do have double green cards in my deck. So it was a bit of a decision, but... drawing the Leyline Binding, I think, was enough to swing it. I'm playing the Spellbinder over the Lovestruck Beast here because I think it's going to make my opponent concede. No, I thought that it was guaranteed to deal damage, and there's a chance that they don't get to make a play on turn 3, so my opponent didn't play a spell. I'm actually in a sideboard, though. I'm going to board in the Revoker from the Remorseful Cleric, just because 2 Forests, they're not that likely to have a graveyard-based deck. This might not be a very good card against them. Let's see. Yeah. If I draw a land, I can make some pretty good plays next turn. I was thinking I might want to be able to double block the pack leader. I'm drawing a Rickshaw. Hopefully they don't have a fight spell. If they have a fight spell here, this game was doomed, I think, from the get-go. Okay. Like I could have not walked into that, but then they're just going to cast it next turn. I don't think I can win this game at this point. They have a little bit of blue in their deck. They have Titania's Command and Inscription of Abundance. I think I should take Esper Sentinel out of my deck. I don't think their deck is primarily creatures. I think the Pelt Collector will serve me better. They did have Llanowar Elves and Rishgard to name with this thing. I just need a better draw. Or I need them to have a worse draw. Turn 2, they made a 4/4 trampler that I couldn't interact with. I don't think I've seen anything for this thing yet, but pretty much every deck has something, has been my experience. There we go. That's what you're talking about. Painful way to cycle.
Phyrexia's story
Plus to make it so things can untap.
becoming unforgettable. You cannot delay our victory.
I am the Emperor of Kamiko. Let your blade do the talking. Show them how we greet our enemies.
You cannot change the future.
What's the minus? Minus X, exile target non-land permanent card. You get a token that's a copy of the card.
I have learned that I have collected enough data. For now.
Strike fast and strike hard.
I think I'm going to continue to just hold the Rec Sage in my hand. I might be building up to like cityscape level or something like that.
We've got the edge in this fight. I guess that's it then. I hope you're ready to lose. Keep watch for his moves.
Can you gain life with this thing? Oh, that's an artifact and an enchantment. Kill that, counter there, attack with everything. There we go, block, block, die. Final match. This is a mulligan. This is a keep. Husky is really not an ideal play on this board, but it was the play I had available to me. Just to trade it with the Shambling Ghast, which I kind of needed to do that trade because otherwise I couldn't play another creature, or they would just activate the priest and sack the Shambling Ghast. Yeah, that's pretty painful. We're gonna go for a fancy play here.
I'm home.
Please don't have that right. Well, I guess Resin actually would have been even worse, but either of those would have been quite bad for me. Lurrus, getting back, Shambling Ghast. Don't like that one.
Strike fast and strike hard. Back to wandering. I've learned much during my travels. Let me show you. This is what you get for hurting my people. See you later.
There's no job too tough for me. I got too involved with Loki.
Alright, now we just need to draw something. Hellish Norn, perhaps? That's not a very good draw. Drag Tusk. Turn Timber Symbiosis. Well, that's a good draw if they don't have anything. So they did just play a removal spell. So it's possible they actually have nothing. It was an auspicious beginning that they're playing Traded Spectre. Okay, the top of my deck is being very kind. I do have a fair number of really good draws in this spot, but drawing 2 5-drops in a row is pretty insane there. I was supposed to attack with Thrag Tusk. So they must have another land in their hand if they're making that play. Because obviously they want to discard a land to get back their Gifted Aetherborn. No, no, don't target Lyra. Yeah. Did not enjoy that. I need to double block the Architect. Come on, Elesh Norn. You're not Elesh Norn. Timeless Witness would also be a very good draw. I'm definitely going to take Jormunka's Command out of my deck for Sarah Paragon. It's another one of these black decks. Heyo. They might have Village Rites in their deck. I don't want to give them another draw step to find it. Uh-oh, I have the Eye Tyrant. That's not good for me. Alright, we need to draw Timeless Witness or Elesh Norn. Lead Spellbinder. I think that gives me another turn. There's been a lot of life gained via lifelink this game. Yeah, that's not gonna do it. I do want to keep this in my deck though. Looks pretty good. And I want to keep the Cleric in my deck because they have Luris. And I want to have the Sarah Paragon in my deck. They had so much removal in their deck that I don't think I'm going to play the Rickshaw's Expertise. I think my deck probably matches up pretty well against theirs. Awaken the Woods, probably not. No. I think I had the mulligan last game as well. Alright, this is a much more reasonable hand. I'm going to ditch Resto Angel. There's a decent chance this gets me some cards if I get into play on turn one. A Lunch Fetter. This looks like it's the end of the road for me. Maybe if I draw a land into land cost. Something good could happen. No. Yeah, that's... It had nothing. Maybe. Because then I would be leyline binding the rest of Rishna Baganjo. Now I need to like draw a land, play Toski, attack with the cleric, hit another land. It's not even gonna work now. So I can block. I think my luck has run out. Oh wow, I even gain life. The Lunch Veteran Jadar combo. Yeah, that's not good for me. I think we're going to save time and concede. Alright, well, that ends my quest to try to win. Did I have fun that match? No. To win it all, I'll have to settle for next to it all. Hope you guys enjoyed watching it, and I'll be making some sort of videos coming up for, you know, for the big events on Arena is kind of what I've decided I'm going to start doing. So like opens and qualifier weekends, I'll probably make some content around those. Some people asked if I'm going to get back to streaming. I don't think so. So if you haven't already, sub to the channel and you'll see the videos. I'm going to be making them intermittently, so you really want to be subbed if you don't want to wind up missing them. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the future.